Okay, last lesson, we are going to, or last video of this set of lessons, we are going to look at how to write an equation given roots and one other point. So this last couple of times we've been using vertex form each time to write our equation. This time we're not going to use vertex form, and instead we're going to use factored form. So it's really hard if, after you've noticed, like, I'm not using standard form at all to create my equation. It's hard to figure out what A, B, and C are because they're kind of numbers that, I mean, C is a y-intercept, A is how it opens, but figuring out the B value is always kind of like an enigma. It's hard to figure out. So because of that, we're never using standard form to create an equation. There's ways to do it. It's just super messy, and there's no point in us figuring it out right now. Well, I mean, there is. If you want to, go ahead, do it. Advanced proficient. Shoot, like, prove to me how to figure it out. However, not the intent right now. I want you to use some of these other forms just to sort of get used to ways to find other equations. So this time we're going to use factored form. Factored form looks like this. Y equals A times X minus X1 times X minus X2, where X1 and X2 are roots. What are roots? Y-intercept, or X-intercepts, X values, zeros, that sort of thing, where it crosses the X-axis. Cool? All right, roots. Great, fabulous. Writing an equation given the roots and one other point. So here are our roots, and here's our one other point. Roots are -4, 0, and 16, 0. And our one other point, I'm going to have it be, in this case, a y-intercept. Does it need to be? No, but it's kind of nice that it is, just because stuff disappears when we have a y-intercept, and you can see how everything sort of nicely falls out. If this were 1 comma something else, we deal with it. It's okay. It's just kind of, I want it to be fun. All right, cool, awesome. Sorry, it's late at night, and I'm such a dork. All right, so we're now going to use this equation and this information to create another equation. Here we go. Step 1. This is only a 3-step situation, by the way. It's kind of nice. So using factored form, we are going to plug in all of our values that we have, okay? And we're going to solve for A. So using factored form, and our roots and point, we will solve for A. Cool. So we have here our x1, we have here our x2, we have an x value and a y value. Awesome. We have everything figured out here except for our A. So notice I'm going to be putting 0 in here 2 times. That's okay. All right. So we have 128 instead of, I want to write that better. 128 is equal to A times 0 minus a -4 times 0 plus, or sorry, not plus, minus 16. All right, and we're going to simplify this. So 128 is equal to A times 0 minus a -4 is a +4. 0 minus 16 is a -16. So I get 128 is equal to A times -64 divided by -64 divided by -64. -2 is equal to A. Done. Created my A value. Again, it's the same as the A value that we've been dealing with for the last 2 equations because this is the same stuff. And now we're going to just write the equation in factored form given our 2 roots and this A value. We're not going to pay attention to this point anymore because we don't need everything filled in. We don't want to have a very specific situation describing just one point on this parabola. We want to figure out the equation for the parabola. So step 2, write the equation with a and our roots. So write the equation with a and our roots. So when we do that, we're now going to write y is equal to a, negative 2 times x minus a negative 4 times, oops, finish those parentheses, x plus 16. And then, so we've created that. And now let's simplify it to standard form, because that's just an awkward way to write an equation. So we get y is equal to negative 2 times x plus 4 times x, actually this should be a minus 16, sorry, minus 16. I'm going to do FOIL on this baby. Y equals negative 2 times x squared plus 4x minus 16x minus 64. And gotta get short. Y, and finish my parentheses, y equals negative 2 times x squared minus 12x minus 64. I'm now going to distribute that negative 2, and I get y equals negative 2x squared plus 24 plus 128. Exact same equation, negative 2. Exact same equation that we've been using over and over and over. And we've just found 3 different ways to utilize different aspects of that parabola to create the equation. Okay, so we've done that in 3 different methods. I hope you've written down all the notes here, here, and here for this one, as well as the other 2 videos. And now you will be all set to write a lot of equations. Bye.